The enemy within has conquered Europe without a fight. They've subdued us just through lies and a tight organization. Having the European tribes fight each other and afterwards replacing the Europeans with peoples from elsewhere, hoping for another war against those peoples from elsewhere, which the Swiss have always been doing, as they love their Nazi police and Freemason authorities through the Alemannic alliance with Pharaoh. Therefore, Swissy has become an entirely different head form due to the mixing with the enemy within, as the Swiss Alamans recognized the advantage of having this alliance with the enemy of the European peoples. So this is a cephalic index of Europe. And you all see it's all black here. It's like a cancer in the middle of Europe, in the Alps. And it says here, the deep shades indicate broad and relatively short heads, like here. It says the Celto-Slavic stock. Well, it has nothing to do with Slavic nor Celto. Here it's all black because there was a Muslim invasion by the Caliphate, the Ottoman Empire. And of course, most of the raping has always been done by the aristocracy, you know, the Caliph, who are the same pharaohs as our masters. So this is the black here, it says the figures indicate the breadth of living heads in percentage of the total length. So these are brachycephalic, as it's been called, you know, like short round heads with a part of the lobe missing at the back of the head, like flat heads. And these are long heads, you know, all over Europe. It's called dolichocephalic. Northern Europe, it's all long heads, dolichocephalic. This is original European, yeah. Even in Spain and the Isles here, even Central Europe, and then here it gets all very black. So it means it's a different race. I mean, you can see it at the cephalic skull form. And why is it black here in France? Because this is the buffer zone. This is Alsace, this is Jura, Le Doubs, this is the north of Italy, this is Vorarlberg in Austria, and this is the south of Germany. Here's the Palatines, where Obama is from, and Trump from his father's side, Erich Honecker of the Stasi, and here it gets really black. It's the base of evil. I can't explain you why it's here. They must have went here as well, and they made like a big nest here. Here as well. This is also Muslim invasions here. They went all the way to here, to Poitiers, and raping the peoples, yeah. The caliphate, like the Islamic State is a caliphate. And Afghanistan now is an emirate by the emir. Emir, caliph, it's all aristocracy. It's not really the people. You know, these guys, they all had you know, a lot of women, you know, hundreds of women, you know, in the court, the caliph and all this, same as in Europe, you know. These are facts, and facts don't lie. You can check it out yourselves. Look around in daily life and compare. Here, in this channel, I do facts only, compared to all the disinformation rubbish in the internet. Facts, academic facts, scientific facts, and historical facts. I like facts and something to hold on that will last through honesty, trust, and straightforwardness, and no short-lived rumors that will fade away with the dust as soon as the thrill is over. Facts, facts, and facts only. Now, through the bug wars, finally, very few of the original Europeans left in Switzerland are waking up to the existence of an enemy within. But there are not many real Europeans left in Switzerland due to the 2000-year infiltration and eventually completely dominating their host. Therefore, I'd like to give you some hidden information on the Swiss Health Minister PER-SETH, the local alpine king of the bug wars, terrorizing the population with the usual pharaonic lies. As Pharaoh's media are a bunch of liars called Die Lügenpresse in German. And here it says in German, Lügenpresse, halt die Fresse. And nicely rhyming too, saying in English, media liars, shut your traps. It is obvious that's all background information on the health minister is all monitored with all valuable intel being hidden. Other that he plays the Swiss sport of Hornussen, using the master's whip. Now, what normal person would invent a sport using a whip, huh? Well, only the masters would do so, all the time guarding the slaves with a whip in their hands, then spontaneously, in one of the many idle moments, while the slaves are busy building, then, out of boredom, watching the slaves all the time, take the whip to make some desert stone spin at high speed. The real master's game with the pharaonic whip. Hey, Swissy. The Swiss game with the whip was most likely already played in ancient Egypt. Here's the name, Hornussen, the Swiss whipping game. Hornussen means a hornet in English, which is almost the same word. Hornus, hornet, hornus, hornet, a word most likely of pharaonic origins, as the European tribes couldn't even write nor read when Pharaoh came with their Roman armies. And when you'd get whipped by Mr. Pharaoh here, your back certainly feels like being stung by a swarm of hornets. Well, here it is in Wikipedia. This is the name, Hornussen. So this is the Swiss whip game, whipping the hornet, where they all stand in the field like here, with a Swiss cross on these things here, and one of them is whipping. And this is interesting here in history. The sport probably developed in the 17th century. No way, man. The earliest reference to harness is found in the records of 1625 of the consistory of Lauperswil, canton of Bern, in a complaint about breaking of the Sabbath. So the Swiss were doing the Sabbath, eh? So, well, here you can see some more. This is the one whipping. I mean, what normal person invents a game using a whip, eh? Can you believe it? And here, the other ones who are not whipping, look, they're all looking up, you know, like the hornet is coming or something. And they're all standing with a shovel, with the Swiss Templars cross in it, in the pharaonic colors of the PER-SETH and the PER-TASSER, the white house of Pharaoh and the red house of Pharaoh. So what I see here is a reference to the slaves in ancient Egypt, you know, working at the pyramids and standing with the shovel, where the other one is using the whip. Hey, Swizzy, you don't fool me. In Swaziland, everything is different. They practice ancient sports you see nowhere else in the entire world. They have a different skull form from the rest of the Europeans. Miraculously, they missed out 2 world wars. All the money and all their banks are there. And all the world's leading NGOs are there. The United Nations, the Red Cross, Olympic Games, you name it. Everything is there in Pharaoh's powerhouse. And just as the Swiss Kim and the Tsar of Russia, Mr. Putin, do, showing themselves as some physics studs, the Swiss Lügenpresse media and the ministry's public relations office tell their slaves that the health minister is a marathon runner. Run, Mr. Health Minister, run. You're gonna need it soon. Run fast and as far as you can. Go do a runner. Run. Oi, Kim, guess whom I picked up on the road, also running away from something? The Swiss media pals of Mr. Swiss Health Minister belong to the Swiss nobility of von Grafenried and their Tamedia company, who heavily attacked me and my family all the time, spreading filthy lies about me in the Swiss Lügenpresse, which I further show in detail in this video here on the same channel. The title is here, The Swiss Beast, Home of the Devil, Part 4, Breaking Individuals and Nations. I published it on July 23rd, 2021, channel Gure. And here it says in the video from Wikipedia that the owner of Tamedia is Charles von Grafenried. So I wonder, as the Swiss media belongs to the nobility, could it therefore be that the Swiss health minister PER-SETH also belongs to Pharaoh's nobility? Well, let's have a look, shall we now? So here it says his name, Alain PER-SETH, inaugurates an exposition in the Château de Prangin, the castle of Prangins. A castle, eh? The Swiss slaves, just as the German slaves and their abdication of the Emperor William II in 1918 believe that there is no more nobility in Swaziland nor in Germany. Here is a long list of actual Swiss nobility, which I'm gonna read out for you. Grafen, here start with the A, Grafen von Aberg, Aburg, Adelsgeschlecht, Awang, Adelsgeschlecht, Eschi, Adelsgeschlecht. Adelsgeschlecht, Adel, it means nobility, and Geschlecht, it means a house, like Per, you know, like PER-SETH, you know, the health minister, like a royal house. Antlau, Adelsgeschlecht. Schenk von Gladburg. You know, when it says von in German, it means it's nobility, you know. In French, it is de. It means the same. De, it means by or from, and von, it means from. And usually it's like a piece of land. Gladburg, it's a piece of, it's a region. And or there's a castle, you know, like Epstein, von Epstein. So it means Schenk from Landeck, which is a region. Landenberg, Langenstein. You see, you get the Stonesies again, eh? Schweizerisches Adelsgeschlecht. Latour, it's a French sounding name. Lensburg. Lili, Adelsgeschlecht. Linden. Lumerins. You saw that it has the Swiss cross in it, I see. Lumerins. Luthernau. And oh, here it's got the Templar V in it. And O for the compass. So let's go on here. Andwil. Freiherrn von Aspermont. Balm, Adelsgeschlecht. Bernfels. Brechburg. Beltruche. It's a French sounding name. Belmont. And also look at the coat of arms, eh? Interesting. Belp-Montenach. Bennenwil. Bernhausen. There you are. PER-SETH. PER-SETH. There he is. You see? And this is the original name, how it was written, of the Swiss health minister. And you see how it says Seth here, like the god of darkness, the god of the underworld, the god of chaos, or Pharaoh. And Per, it means Per, the house of Seth. And don't you think they're all gone, eh? So there he is, the Swiss runner. But the minister didn't run fast enough, though. Got you, mate. So I'll continue to name the actual still existing pharaonic nobility houses in Swaziland, who still rule the entire country, while the dumb slaves believe they have a people's referendum. Well, forget it, you know. Bichelsee, and don't you think they're gone, eh? They're still there. And they got loads of offspring. Bliedek. Well, that's interesting. Got 3 squares in it. Well, I'm not going to look too much at all the... here, Bondeli with the Swiss cross. Magenberg and the castle. Manesse. Manuel. 3 times a fleur de lis. Much. It's always 3, you know, 3, what is it, 3 wings here. Because 3 is them. May. Oh, that's a nice one. Always lions, of course. And this also, they show a lot like these vertical lines. Mais, Adelsgeschlecht. All in Swaziland, eh? Mestral, Adelsgeschlecht. House, nobility house. Demeurant. Mont. Oh, there you got the Order of the Garter. There you are. And then the coat of arms of the British monarchy. Moors, Adelsgeschlecht, with a bear. Mulin, Adelsgeschlecht. Ah, that's interesting. They got the same thing in Mulhouse in France. This round thing here, it's the symbol of the town of Mulhouse. Exactly the same thing. Mulna, Zurich, Münch, Münster. Well, let's go on. You just tell me when you have enough, eh? Yeah, Bundeli. And these names still exist, you know, in Swaziland. And they're all in key positions. Now they're all politicians. They all got big businesses, you know. They never left. Come on. As I showed you the picture before of the German emperor with Adolf Hitler, we're still in the Fourth Reich, you know. They just changed jackets. I'm sorry, we're still in the Third Reich. Bonstetten, again, 3. Bovelino, Brandis, Bremgarten, die Freiherren von Bremgarten in Bern. Brumsey. Ah, look, the Seal of Solomon. Brunner in Bern. With an octagon in it. Is it? No, it's hexagon. Boomberg. Also from Bern. With the Seal of Solomon. King Solomon. Again, 3 things in it in their coat of arms. Buchek. Buol. 2 colors, white and blue. Blue for the war and white for the New World Order. And a little red rose, you know, for the where they came from. With the roots, where the flower is. Again, Buol. They have again 3 leaves. The number 3, Buchading. Burgistein, die Herren von Burgistein. Busnang. It's all Swiss nobility. Münzer. Münz, it means a coin, you know, they were making the coins, you know, and owning the coins. Muralt. Now here it's got 4, which is us, you know, for us, and it's the fleur de lis. Grafen von Nellenburg. Neukuburg. Like Coburg. Huh? Neuenburg. You know, you got 3 times white, you know, and 4 times the red. So it says the concept of red and of 3 and 4 in a Templars V, in the colors of the Knights Templars. Offenburg. Oron. Funny name. Augsburger. Ah, there you got again. The coat of arms of the royal house of Gotha Coburg in England. The unicorn, and taken over by the Order of the Garter. Pem. Pfuffer von Altishoven. The skull of the Freemasons at the one corner of the table, as they did in the Swiss school where my kids were. You know, same thing. At the corner of the table, they put a skull. Freemasonry. So because Swissy, it's the first republic in the entire world, the first horizontal New World Order rule in 1291. So here already the nobility, they became republicans, ruling in a different way, like making themselves invisible, like disappear. Planta, nobility of planta, with a bare foot in it, and on top it has this CIA star in it. This is very interesting because if you don't understand this, you'll never understand everything. But it's going to take some time. We're at sea here. Well, I do both. Krisenberg, Mundprat, Kandrian, Kapol, Karl von Hohenbalten, again 3 of course, because that's them. Kasparis, that's K, per, is. That's the word per in it, even if it is with an A. Kastelberg. Chalon, nobility. Adelsgeschlecht, nobility. Champvin. Oh, nice castle, hidden. You wouldn't even know it is there, von Grandson, very powerful family in Switzerland. Chapeau Rouge, again 3 of course, and it has a Muslim sword, the same as this Freemason order lodge in America. I forgot the name. John Wayne was part of it. These guys, driving these little cars, Cossonay, Crusa, Pigeon. Well, that was the telephone in those days, Diesbach, also very powerful family in Emmental. Von Diesbach. Pourtalais, Prangin. Oh yeah, that was the castle where the health minister, which he inaugurated. The castle of Prangin. Pré, Herrn von Ramschwag, Rapperswiller, nobility. Raron, nobility. Regensburg, nobility. Again 3. Reich von Reichenstein, Rheinach, Freiherren von Rezüns, zu Rhein. So Freiherren, the ones who are free, it's also nobility, Ring von Baldenstein. Baldenstein, it reminds me of Baldur von Schirach, the nobility, the nobleman who, the head of the Hitler Youth, who put all the garbage in the heads of kids with no chance to escape it. Ringenberg. Anyway, they were forced to go into it. Ringelting, again 3 things in there. Okay, I'm going on here. Trugsessen van Diesenhofen, with a crown in it. You can read it, those who read German can read it yourself. And normally I wouldn't do this, Eberhardingen, Eberhard, it's a name, yeah. Eber, it means a wild boar. It's the Count of Eberhard. And normally I wouldn't do this, because it gets boring in a movie, but it's so important because the whole world, and especially the Swiss peasants, they believe that they have a Swiss referendum and they have a people's republic and the peasants are ruling. Well, forget it. So I just want everybody to get this real boring and look at it so you won't forget it, especially so the Swissies won't forget it. Who's really ruling the whole shebang, you know? So I'm just gonna get on with it, you see? So if it's boring for you, you just jump, you know, and to the next part. Écu blanc. It's all nobility. Effinger. Egardon. I'm not even reading it all, you know, because that will take too much time. Eppenberg, like Epstein, you see. You know, there's a square in it for this, you know, for the square. Yeah. Eppenstein. Oh, there we go. Epstein. Oh, you see, even in Swaziland, you know, and through history, you know, the part of the word it falls away and it becomes Epstein, and you know, red and white. So you know, Epstein, it's nobility. Erlach, von Erlach, Eschenbach. I think it was a famous painter or something, or designing houses or whatever. But it's all nobility, of course. And on top it has a crescent moon of Islam. Falkenstein, because nobility in Islam, you know, that they're the same dudes. They also have nobility, eh? Falkenstein, that means the falcons, eh? Horus. Well, it doesn't look very much like a falcon. Fellenberg, Fischer, von Fischer. Oh dear, what happened? I pushed on something here. Oh, there we go. Good. Ritter vom Rümlang. There we that's the unicorn again. Rockville. Well, that's interesting. A double Templars cross, one in white and one in red. Eh? Roll, nobility. Rothberg, Freiherr von Zagogne. Vorizagogne. You know, the Russian mafia is called Vorizagogne. It says Sagogne. It's in French, so you say Sagogne. Because the mafia, it's all the same thing, you know, it's the same. They're terrorizing us and they say, no, we need a police, and the police is them as well. You know? See, that's what they do. It's always what they've been all doing. Yeah, three things on earth here, you know, here the red and the white, von Sachs, the Saxons, you know, Scharnachtal, Schauenberg, Schauenburg, Schauenstein, the Stonesies again the number 3, Schlatt, the double-header, you know, you remember the double-headed nobility, because one part was for the were Republicans and the other parts were monarchists. So they put them all together in a double-header. You know. It's very simple, you know. Flachslanden, die Herren vom Flachslanden, Fries, Frisching, Froburg, Giel, Gingin, Giesenstein, Glutz, Gösgen, nobility, Grafenried. Ah, they are my pals von Grafenried. They're very powerful in America. The George W. Bush, he married a von Grafenried, Laura Bush. They have a castle where the Bush family goes next to Bern. I went there, I filmed for you. Von Grafenried, they have the media. They the whole media in Switzerland belongs to them, and they really attacked me and my family. Von Grafenried, you never forget that name, eh? Grandson, very powerful. Look at the castle, eh? Grand Villard, Freiherrn von Greifenstein, You know, that's why they put German-speaking and French-speaking, Italian-speaking people together. Because, you know, there was the French-speaking nobility, the Italian-speaking nobility, and the French-speaking nobility, the German-speaking nobility, and then the Retro-Romantic-speaking nobility in Graubünden. And they just put the peoples together, you know, because they wanted to have the new system. So, Schmidt von Grüneck, there's not much left of the castle, Schmidt von Grüneck, Schönau, again the number 3, and a sort of a double header. Ah yeah, one head is white for the New World Order, the horizontal Republican rule, and one head is red for the Old World Order, the vertical rule. So you get a different way of making a double header. And in the helmet, it says, it shows a Templars cross or a Swiss cross. And there is the compass as well. So there must be a square. Yeah, the square is in the cross, of course. Rorschach, die Herren von Rorschach. Rosenberg, that might be a jaywalker nobility, maybe, Rosenberg. Because they exist as well. Sehen, von Sehen, nobility. Zellenburen, Sénach clan Grancy, again the number 3. Zen von Münsingen, there's the tau symbol, the T in it, you see, which comes from the Ankh, the pharaonic Ankh for life, in red and white of the pharaohs. And why does it show a Nubian? Eh? Well, Zigno, nobility, von Zigno. So all these names, you know, they used to be von Zigno, and now they're just called Zigno, you know, and you don't know anymore. It's nobility, yeah. And all Swissies, they think, oh, we rule the whole country. It's the people. We have the referendum and the Swiss People's Party, the UDC in French, or the SVP in Swiss German, the Swiss People's Party, the Schweizer Volkspartei. They're all nobility. They're just lying to the people. You see, you know, all these vons are not gone. So now I'm going to read it the real way, you know, like I'm not going to say Zignau anymore. I say von Zignau, because you can see at the left, it's all von Zignau. Von Zingenberg, von Zinner, it says, to the left you can see that. Oh look, there's the Freemason hand. You see it's the right hand, of course, you know. It means there are Republicans in red and white. Solaire, de Solaire, it's the same as von. Yeah, Grenchen, von Grenchen, sorry. I think a lot of Americans go there, next to that tourist place. Grün von Grünenberg, it's all green, very nice. Very nice coat of arms, I like it. Von Güttingen, von Habsburg, die Habsburger. Von Habsburg, Laufenburg, von Hallwil. A lion with a big dick, because, you know, they're a bunch of rapists, you know. Eh? Prince Andrew. Von Hegenza, again, King Solomon. Von Hegenza. Von Heidelberg, die Herren von Heidelberg, again 3 things in it. 3 squares even. Von Heidnau. Von Helmsdorf. I think von Helmsdorf was it has the unicorn, and below there's the double header unicorn, 2 times, and with a T in it for the tau symbol. And there's also the Swiss cross in the middle. Hetzel von Lindach, von Hetzel, von Hilterlingen with the X's. Die Freiherren von Spiegelberg, von Bernegg, von Stadion, again three times the crescent moon, with the Templars crossing the helmet, and the all-seeing eye in the bird's feathers. Of course, it's an all-seeing eye. Eh? Von Steiger, von Stocker, von Strasberg, like Strasbourg in France. Strasbourg, von now in Strasbourg, it's the center of the European community. Von Strattlingen, with an arrow shooting at us. It has the V symbol of the Templars in it. Von Streif, von Stürler. This is the gate here. They show it, I think, in the British Parliament on their coat of arms. The new Sulz, von Sulz, von Sumero, there's Sumeria in it. Von Tavel, Okay, let's go on. We're getting there, eh? So, Swissy, you Swiss peasants, don't forget who's ruling, eh? Don't believe your People's Party. And stop terrorizing the immigrants, they're not the enemy. I'm not your enemy, so leave my family alone. Von Thurn und Traxis in Albon, von Itschner, ist ein altes schweizerisches Adelsgeschlecht. So you read it, you Swissies, eh? They didn't disappear, these people, forget it, eh? Oh, look at the knife, a nice throat cutter. Jeanneret de Beaufort, von Jägistaff, Swiss nobility. During the war, the Swiss general, who was, like pretending to be against the Germans, he was in the castle of the nobility of von Jägenstaff. Here it says Jägenstaff, or the people there, they call it Jägistaff. I filmed the castle for you. Probably it was on my channel. They took it off. Von Jena. See the crescent moon of Islam, and on top he's holding the seal of Solomon, the dude. It's all the same thing, Von Jochberg, von Kien, von Kienberg, von Klingen, von Krauchtal. Von Klingen, it has also the bird's eye, the all-seeing eye there, meaning Horus. Von Krauchtal. I was in the prison there. It was also an ancient castle, a high security prison in Krauchtal. The family von Krauchtal. So they get money, to renovate their castle, like using it momentarily as a high security prison. So their castle won't, deteriorate. Von Kränken, von Tegerfallen, von Teufen, von Tierstein, von Thun. So like Greta Thunberg, it's the nobility von Thun, Maybe it shows von Thunberg somewhere. Die Freiherren von Thun. Here it says Thun, but here's Thun, like the town Thun in Swaziland. Greta Thunberg. It's all the same, you know. You don't get all into the newspapers all the time. Just like in France now with, you know, like this guy Zemmour, Eric Zemmour. The guy here is a jaywalker, but the whole jaywalker community are against him, you know, because they understand it, that he's erg raaf. Even a simple jaywalker, you don't get into the media all the time as simple as that. You know, he's a pharaoh. Van Toggenburger, van Travers, van Trezzini, van Charner. What's that? That's again the Le Griffon, an old pharaonic animal. The first time they found it was in the ancient pharaonic hieroglyphs and all that. The Griffon. Die Herren von Thurn, von Ulm. It has again a Griffon on top of it. Von Valère, from Davos. Ah, yeah, that's where they keep the G20 and the all these things. From Davos. Von Valère. It's a it's also a surname. Okay, people, we made it, eh? Thank God they don't have all the ja, von Keyboard. Eerste Seite. Oh, there's another page. Wow. Die Freiherren von Watts. Ah, there you got the checkerboard. They got exactly like this on the cars of the Australian police. Remember that. So you Australians, you better read this, eh? What's written here. It's the checkerboard, the Freemason checkerboard in white and blue with red, with a red square next to it. Because the red square is where they come from, and the checkerboard, white for the New World Order and blue for the war, is what they have now. So this is the same as the double-headed birdie. You got one head red and the other head is Freemasonry here. So what was this? Nächste Seite. Ah, it's going on. Bloody hell. Yeah, okay, well, let's go on. It's not much. We're already at the Z in American English. Von Victoriden, there's the victorious ones in it, you know. Victoriden. Von Stahl. Grafen von Waldkirch. Ah, yeah, with oh, well, why is the Nubian there, hey? What is the Nubian doing there? That was probably a Nubian king, you know, a Nubian pharaoh. You know, and remember, it was the African kings who enchained their own people to sell them to the Muslim slave drivers, and then the ships, they all belong to the Swiss. You know, it's a big, you know. We didn't do it. The white people, we didn't do it. We were not the slave drivers. And there's the circle in it for the compass. Freiherren von Watt. It's like BMW. You know, it's also nobility, of course. Von Wartenfels. Von Weisenburg, Schweizer Adelsgeschlecht. In Oberland von Werdenberg. Von Wessenberg, again the number 3 in it. Die Freiherren von Wildenberg, it means the wild mountain. Well, you know how many women they raped there, eh? Von Villading. Die Herren von Wolfurt. Von Wittenbach. Von Zehender. So now they you know, like Wittenbach, they're just called Wittenbach nowadays. They just took away the von, because we're not anymore in a monarchic system. we are in a horizontal system now, in a republican system. So they don't, and there's so many of them. They don't need the fun part anymore. And and nowadays through marriage, Zeander. Oh, look, that's the wife of. I will tell you that in a minute. Zehn in it became Zeander. The H went away. The wife of the Swiss health minister PER-SETH. This is the royal family or the nobility family of his wife, and only the H fell away because there's the word 10 in it. And the nobility, they used to take 1/10 of your salary or 1/10 of what of your harvest, which is called un dîme, from un dixième, dîme in French. It became the English dime, but it all comes out of the 10th part of your salary or of your harvest, which you had to give to the nobility so they didn't have to work. And the wife of the health minister, her name is Zeander. So listen up, you Swiss peasants, you're still being ruled by these ones here. Zellweger, Renée Zellweger, famous American actress. She's Swiss, by the way. And well, here you can see from what nobility family she is from. Otherwise, you don't become a famous actress, or it's going to be very hard. Some of them, most of them know it. Some of them might not know it, Zollikofer, von Zollikofer von Altenklingen. Klingen, that's the a knife, a blade. Zweier von Evenbach, again, 3 leaves in it, And if you're interested, you can click on all the, and see the Wikipedia and yeah. So I can click on this one. You can see the coat of arms. So I hope it wasn't that boring. I had to do this so you really know, especially the Swiss peasants. You all know that the SVP, the UDC, it's all nobility, and they're just trying to gain time, lying through their teeth. They're all smiling and lying to the people, and with this fairy tale of a Swiss people's referendum. Come on, people, forget it. These are the ones who are still ruling, and you Swiss peasant, don't do as what they want you to do. As when I was living in Swaziland, you had this wave of racism, and showing the Nubians as black sheep being kicked by the white sheep. It's a camouflage, they want to gain time, so you lose your energy on a sidetrack, like let's go and attack the foreigners like me and my family. I'm not your enemy. This is your enemy, all this nobility stuff, and you just lost your time. They just went on like importing all people from all over the world. They just went on, and you thought that the SVP was doing something against it. No, they didn't. They just went on and they lied to you. Forget about it. They're just all these politicians are a bunch of liars. Oh, I can go on for ages with the dumb Swiss peasants. They're never going to understand it. They're so obsessed with, it's useless. In fact, the 7 heads of the Swiss beast have the final say if a people's referendum passes or not. It says the 7 members of the Federal Council. The Swiss government comprises the 7 members of the Federal Council. The president is elected for a 1-year term of office and is regarded during that time as primus inter pares. You remember the primogenitor here of the aristocracy? Don't we now? primus inter pares, or the first among equals. You know, because this is their new primogenitor. And just have a good look how he's holding his hands. Eh? You all remember Trump, Merkel, Hitler? Just look how he's holding his hands. He's giving a message. Look, there he is, the Swiss health minister with his blue war tie. He's always wearing the blue war tie. And look at how this bloke here, maybe you know him. Look how he's holding his hands. He's always doing this, like this. And here's the World Economic Forum. In Switzerland, of course. And this is the compass, the circle, a square. Here's the square. And compass, yeah. I mean, why put this ugly thing here, like if it were from some cheap shop, like, you know? Why not put a nice marble table, the things they like, you know? They got all the money for it, eh? So this is Mr. PER-SETH, the house of Seth. And he is doing the hands, eh? They all do it. And here we can see Mr. Hitler and Mrs. Merkel again doing this. They all do it, eh? In fact, I was the one 10 years ago who found in a video Mr. Hitler doing this, and I immediately recognized it. I made a video about it on my channel, but FuckTube took the whole channel off. So, and then for a while my video was copied by some persons, and even that has disappeared now. But thank God some people, some Germans, who took some screenshots of this, so we can still use it. I don't even know anymore from what old documentary I got it from, but I immediately recognized it. And the 7 heads of the Swiss beast are not elected by the people, but by the National Council of 200 Freemasons. It says the National Council, 200 seats, all Freemasons. And it says in the whole story here on Wikipedia, it says somewhere, I think, that they vote the 7 heads of state. So here's their logo. And you know how proud they are of their Swiss cross, you know. So, but why mutilated? You know, there's a whole part missing here. Deliberately missing, you know. Because it has 4 parts, the Swiss cross, which means the people, the concept of 4. So what is it here? The 200 seats, it's the government, yeah. There's only 3. The concept of 3, which is the hierarchy of the pyramid, the side of a pyramid. It's a triangle, it's 3, the concept of 3, which is them, our masters. And of course the National Council here, it's only them. Look, and they even call it the Federal Palace. That's a Federal Palace. You know, I just filmed it, and oh look, I see the sun hieroglyph in it, and it's all in there, you know. And you know, if I punch on it here, look, gonna have a look at it. This looks like a mosque. To me, this is a mosque, you know. And you know, that's here too. The 3rd part is missing here too. This is deliberately, because it's them, our masters, the concept of 3. There's no European in the Swiss National Council, neither in the Swiss Federal Council. There's no real European or no real Swiss peasant in there. It's only the aristocracy, and therefore the concept of 3. The symbols are all there. It's straight in our face. Nowadays, in order to avoid further frictions, the enemy within our masters, simply frauds the outcome of all Swiss referendum elections, like making it legal recently in 2020 for pink list killers being able to get married and adopt defenseless children in Swaziland, for which surely not even the Swiss would vote for. Anyway, there's no one from the people who controls the elections except our masters themselves, who are both right and both left of the political spectre. The left wing and the right wing are of the same bird, birdie birdie. And remember that I've read all the names of actual aristocratic families in Swaziland. So you'll never have to think anymore that they're gone. This is eternal Egypt. The nobility's doubleheader rules over Swaziland. The nobility's doubleheader rules over Swaziland. Eternal Egypt. So, his title is His Excellency Mr. Alain Berset. He's the Federal Councillor. It says His Excellency Mr. Alain Berset, Federal Councillor, Head of the Federal Department of Home Affairs, the Swiss Confederation, 2019. But the name should be pronounced PER-SETH, as the Swiss Germans would pronounce it. So have a good look at his name, because there are two parts, PER-SETH. And I'll show you now what the name PER-SETH means in Pharaoh's language called the Demotic. Per comes out of Pharaoh's per, meaning the house, as in a royal aristocratic house. So here in Wikipedia it says the hieroglyph pr, because as I told you in Pharaonic only the consonants are being written, and this is the hieroglyph house. And here it says per is the hieroglyph for house, the floor plan of a walled building with an open doorway, while its original pronunciation is not known with certainty, but modern Egyptology assigns it the value of per, eh? Just as in the bloke's name PER-SETH, Berset, but purely on the basis of a convention specific to the discipline. And here there's some more about it. Oh yeah, here. This is the hieroglyph for library, the house of life. So here's house and here's life, Ankh, with the Tau symbol below it. Because for the pharaohs, if you don't write things down, if you don't have any history, you don't exist. There's no life. And well, you can read it yourself. There's a lot of pairs here. And here the per-Ankh. Here it's even written like this, per. The per-Ankh, the house of life. There's another Wikipedia here. Oh, there it is, the per-Ankh, the house of life. And this is the hieroglyph. You can read it yourself. And So this is the origin of his aristocratic name. And Seth or Set, you can write it both ways, as in the name of the Swiss health minister PER-SETH, or in the aristocratic name von PER-SETH. Seth is the Egyptian god of the underworld and the god of deception, evil, war, violence, and destruction, who provokes earthquakes, famine, and volcano outbursts. Seth or Set, the beast, as in the Swiss beast, home of the devil, and the beast with the 7 heads, with one of the 7 heads called PER-SETH, from the house of Seth, Seth, the god of chaos, as in ordo ab chao, order out of chaos, which the health minister PER-SETH, from the house of Seth, the god of deception and destruction, tries to achieve with his politics. So Pharaoh can install the total control, Ma'at, order of Pharaoh after the chaos. The anagram for the new Facebook Meta is Ma'at, like here in French, with the second vocal not really an A anymore. Here you can see it, Ma'at, or here, Ma'at. Ma'at, the anagram of Meta, the goddess of order and total control after the chaos. The Meta Ma'at logo in blue for the wall in a bent circle in 3D representing the compass. As with a compass, you can draw a circle. So the aristocratic name of PER-SETH means the royal house of Set, the beast god of Egypt, which happens to be exactly what he's doing, the beast of Switzerland. The name says it all. And watch the guy to the right, with the all-seeing eye pyramid around his neck in gold. Now what is he giving here? Here it is. The all-seeing eye pyramid in gold. And what do you think he's giving to the Pope? Don't you think this thing here fits in here? He's giving everybody that all-seeing eye pyramid, probably. With a smile, of course. PER-SETH, the house of Seth, here playing ice hockey in the house of Switzerland, the Per-Swissie. Look here, it says the house of Switzerland. It says the house of Switzerland. Because Switzerland is a pharaonic house, the base of Pharaoh, the Swiss beast, home of the devil. And look here. Look how they're laughing, as PER-SETH is probably cracking some ancient pharaonic joke. I guess PER-SETH was preparing a game with his pharaonic pal, the Tsar of Russia, as hockey is an ancient pharaonic game anyway. And I remind you that the WHO, World Health Organization, is also in Switzerland. The World Snake logo with Pharaoh's magic wand, keeping humanity in the crosshairs. showing the global Swiss octagon all over the world. And look this here. And this is what the Caesars of their Roman Empire were having on their heads. So this is Caesar. This thing is the crosshairs on the world. You see, it's divided into 8 parts. The cake here is divided into, or the pizza is divided into 8 parts, meaning octagon, all over the world, octagon. And this is the Pharaoh's magic wand, as in the Bible, with the snake. The WHO World Health Organization in Switzerland, of course. Oh, look, there he is again, and here is his name, Mr. Alain PER-SETH, Federal Councillor, head of the FDHA, whatever that means, Swiss Confederation. Here it says World Health Organization. PER-SETH, the Swiss Health Minister. With the WHO World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. Oh, here's their snake logo. Yeah, the Brotherhood of the Snake, you might say. And here it says, yeah, and here it says World Health Organization. They're so concerned about our health. Hey, Swissy. Some of you north of Switzerland might recognize this one here, wrapped in blue for Pharaoh's war crown, with the blue war collar around her neck, symbolizing the choke of humanity through the bug wars. And here's the charming couple again, this time showing a black square next to the Davos circle compass. And here it says, committed to improving the state of the world. Committed like in to commit a crime. These are all hidden messages in which the state of the world does not mean the general condition of the world, but it means the world state or one world order, just as I've shown you in my last video in French about the French cops called by their media the forces of the order, which doesn't mean that they bring order. No, hell no. It means they belong to a secret order, the order of Octagon of the Knights Templars, state of the world and the forces of the order combined to achieve their total ma'at. PER-SETH's ancestry comes out of France, of the aristocratic family of de Bercé, the French way of pronouncing PER-SETH. De Bercé, Bercé de Vaux-Fleury, Bercé de Haute-Rive, and their castle, Château de Haute-Rive, who either had to escape France because of the French Revolution, but rather the opposite, because they were aristocratic, republican, Templar descendants. Look, this is Wikipedia. This is the aristocratic family of PER-SETH. La famille Bercé ou de Bercé. It's a county. And here's about the origins. So this is about the ancestry of the Swiss health minister from the house of the beast. Seth is the beast. Yeah, Jacques Bercé, Marin Bercé, Jacques Bercé. So I just pronounce it the French way here. Eh? This is the French branch, where they come from. Jean-Baptiste Berzé, Marie-Renée Michel Berzé, René Berzé, Louise Berzé, Marie de Haute-Rive, you know, the castle. Marie Berzé d'Haute-Rive, Joseph de Berzé. It's the soldier, the Order of St. Louis. Oh, there we go. Wee, nice Templars cross, eh? It's always the same stuff, eh? Jean de Berzé, Marie-Amélie de Berzé. Oh, look, the Carolina. No. You just have to dig into the history, otherwise you never understand it, you know. Anna de Berzé, Marie-Johanna de Berzé, Claudina Jean Berzé, Sébastien Berzé, Claude René de Berzé. It's all PER-SETH, PER-SETH, PER-SETH. The House of Seth, there. Jean-Baptiste Berzé, Château de Haute-Rive. I just showed that to you. There's the castle again. Jean-Marie Berzé. This is interesting. Jean-Baptiste Berzé, he originated the, he made the probably secret society. One part is in the open, and there's one part in the secretly. Eh? So this is Société du Jardin PER-SETH. It's a literary society, it says. Of course it isn't, you know. And look, let's have a look. Berzé, PER-SETH. You know, they're all like organizing societies, secret societies, and all sort of orders. Yeah, it's the Lord of Haute-Rive, the castle. And well, there's a lot of guys in it, you know, in this order. You know, so they're all aristocrats, you know, Pierre-Jacques Dugemain de la Maurière, de la Motte, de la Vivancière, Gaultier de Vosnay, de la Fardière, Lanier de Vosnay. They're all aristocrats. It's an aristocratic order. And they just say, well, we went together, you know, because we came together, you know, because of some literary issues. Chevalier, this is a knight. Foucault de l'Aubinière, they're all power people, a lot of power here. Jean Dugemain, Beaucoudray, de Ménil, Foucault de Vauguillon, de la Fournière. It's the high society, the elite are in this society called de Berzé, the PER-SETH society of the House of Seth, the House of the Beast. And now they are in Swaziland. The Beast is in Swaziland, and we are in the end times, eh? Imagine, the Beast is in Swaziland, the House of Seth, and we are in the end times. You know, Monaco, you know, Gazette de Courrier de Monaco, you know, it's all elite. If you walk around in Monaco with a backpack, you know, and, you know, they arrest you and throw you out, you know, you can only get in there with a Ferrari or a Porsche and, you know, or a Rolls Royce, a Bentley. Otherwise, you won't get in there. So that was Société du Jardin Berzé. Has nothing to do with it. It says the Society of the Berzé Garden. That reminds me of this American video The Circle of the Poets or something, about this this guy who killed himself. It's 100% sure it's a reference to this here. You know, all videos, all Hollywood movies, you know, they refer to something or they give a message, and you know, it's all castles, Chateau de Sumeren. It's like Sumeria, you know, Sumeren. It's all the elite, the power. So there's the castle again, Chateau de Haute-Rive, and it's a chateau fort, and that means it's an old castle. It was a 13th century, where the PER-SETH family lived. Here it is in France. This here is Switzerland. The little pig, eh? Guillaume d'Haute-Rive, Famille du Bellay. Oh, here it says Jean-Baptiste PER-SETH. PER-SETH. In French, Bercé. In Swiss German, just like Pharaonic, PER-SETH. And the whole family went to the Swiss German part. I'll show you that in a minute. Now look here. This is the, they even have a chapel inside. Look here, the sun hieroglyph here, the Freemason checkerboards here and here as well. There's probably a lot more to see here. There's a name here, the Comte. You know, it's the same word, Comte or Count. There's a lot of squares here in the window. Oh, and there's a circle as well, you know. Is it? Oh, there's a circle inside. It says square and compass. So they were, you know, they were Republicans. That's why they left, because of they were like into the Knights Templars and stuff like that. Otherwise, you don't put this in the window. It looks like the European Community, blue with a lot of stars in it. That's the symbol. Ah, look at this, Yachin and Boaz. There we go. And it's the sun, Isis. Well, the whole shebang is there, eh? With the this checkerboard configuration below. This is the inverse pyramid, like in Auschwitz. The flower. Oh, look at this. The flower is the famous Swiss flower, the Edelweiss. You know, like the SS and they had an Edelweiss regiment, elite regiment. It's already a reference to the Alps where they went to in Switzerland. Yachin and Boaz, Isis, the sun. Here's a V. Look at this. There's a Templar V in it. This is probably Switzerland here. Yeah. Well, I would like to have a look around here, eh? But yeah, this is why they left France. The French king didn't want them. So at least we know that. You can all read that in the symbols and the things they're showing, like, you know. Yeah. Here's again. This is the castle here, Chateau de Haute-Rive. Chateau de Haute-Rive. All right. So look, here's a coat of arms. Also PER-SETH. Here they are. Here you are. The same as the Jean-Baptiste de Bercé de Laval. That's the town. You know, that's. And he was a secretary of the king, secrétaire du roi. Here's the concept of 3, which is them. The line is them as well. Here are 6 squares. Why not 7? Funny. And here is the sun hieroglyph with the crown. The crown is showing 9. And of course, this is a square. This is a circle. They have several coat of arms, apparently. Yeah, PER-SETH, like the Swiss health minister. And this is in France, where they originally came from. And here again, the PER-SETH coat of arms, the crest, but now in colors. And this is interesting that this is in red and white, the Knights Templars colors and the colors of Swaziland. The nobility of PER-SETH, de Bercy. And here is some more recent stuff about the French nobility of Bercy de Vaufleury, PER-SETH de Vaufleury. And this is Besançon, which is right next to the Swiss border. And this is when some people, when they died, 2018, you know, they still exist, you know, the house of PER-SETH. Or Per already means the house of the beast. Le Doubs, that's a region next to Swaziland, like this here. It's all Bercy de Vaufleury, PER-SETH de Vaufleury. Xavier Maréchal, Pierre-André Henry. Well, you read it yourself. It's the nobility. PER-SETH is the nobility. Dot. Final. Yeah, look, these are French castles. Well, this one is in Switzerland. You see the Swiss cross? Vaud, l'État de Vaud. Vaud is a Swiss canton. Lausanne is there. Yeah, look at the name, Françoise Berzé, like the Swiss health minister Alain Berzé, writing an article about a castle here in France. Where they come from? Right? No, and this is all more castles. Look, this is in Geneva, Switzerland. Writing articles about castles. And what do we find here? The name of Bercy. And why do they write about castles? It's probably their castle in the first place, you know, and it's the aristocracy. They write about castles, of course they do. It's as I told you, for the pharaohs, if people who don't have a history, who don't write things down, they are non-persons. They don't exist for pharaoh. So that it's in their genetics. They have to write about castles, you know, and about their history. So I'm very sorry. I have to do this again, and this time in French, because there's a lot of other names in the Swiss French, or in the French Swiss aristocratic list, noblesse Suisse, which are not in the German speaking list. So I know it's quite boring, but I have to do this, you know, to make this document complete. So the Swiss don't believe in this anymore, that they're being ruled by they have their Swiss People's Party and their People's Referendum, the SVP, the Schweizer Volkspartei, and the UDC, the Union Démocratique du Centre. You know, they're just lying to the people, you know. They're lying. The SVP, they're a bunch of liars. They just want to win time, you know. So I have to do this. So I'm very sorry. Noblesse Suisse. Comte de Arberg, the Counts of Arberg. Louis d'Affry, it's a count. Philippe Affry, again the Count. They're all it's from France. They come from France, you know. Famille d'Allinges. Andermatt, a soldier. La Harpe. There's a lot more, you know, but I can't read it all. Well, you look, he was with the Tsar. It says here, Tsar Alexander of Russia. De la Harpe. I mean, what's the Swiss doing with the Tsars, you know? Because it's all aristocracy. loin de chez eux, chez eux. Famille de Loi, les seigneurs de Loi, famille the family of Maillardeau, de Maillardeau, de Quibourg. We have this one in the other list. I'm terribly sorry, people, but we have to do this. There is no People's Party, there's no People's Referendum. It's these blokes here, they're all ruling, and there are many. At least half of them, you know, like Voltaire, he said 50%. It's the aristocracy still ruling, eh? De Axe, oh, look at their face, you know, no further comment. Von Bachmann, oh, look at that. He's got an octagon on his chest and a Templar's cross and well, a military soldier. Von Bernfels, that means the stone of the bears. De Beguelin, where was he? He died in Berlin. What's he doing in Berlin, eh? Another soldier, Baron de Besenwald-Brunstadt, de B, family Bionnon. And they all have castles, people. Maybe not so many anymore. This is the bishopry of Basel, you know, where they wrote the witch's hammer, you know, the two Swissies, or the names again. I forgot their names. The burning of the witches started, and this one is Blarer de Wartensee. Blatnik, a princess. Oh, look at that. Gotha. It says Gotha Coburg. Tatiana Blatnik. Okay. Bois de Dunilac. Another. Herzogen Bourse. De Bossé. Another soldier. And I thought Swaziland was neutral. What are all the soldiers doing there? Mayor de Lutry. De Meillet. A noble family, it says. Merle d'Aubigné. They're all noblemen. They're all aristocrats. De Mestral. De Meuron. That was a soldier, eh? That's quite known, huh? De Meuron. General. Pierre de Meuron. De Montagny. The high nobility, it says, yeah. Haute noblesse. Montmolin. De Montmolin. Montolieu. So this is where the French, you know, nobility, where they escaped to, eh? And they're telling you, you know, the Swiss, they got rid of the nobility, you know, with William Tell, and you know, and in 1291, and it's a People's Republic, and what are all these aristocrats doing there, eh? De Mural, Jean de Murat. Jean de Murat. I tried to do it a bit quicker, you know, but I have to read a little bit in it. De Botton. Oh, he looks like Prince William. There you go. Look at this, everything, you know, the nose and everything. That's Prince William. Alain de Botton, another aristocrat. Bouvier d'Ivoire. 3 times Templars colors. Von Bubenberg. de Beaumont. Oh, I like it, you know, they're showing some actual pictures. You look, this is a politician. And Boeman, you know, it also means like a devil, I think, in Swiss, in the Swiss language or the German. You know, he's nicely smiling, you know, and neutral Swissy, you know. Nobody thinks about it, that this is the nobility. All pharaohs, you know. Pyram de Candolle. Pyramus de Candolle, another one. Pyram de Candolle, Casimir. David de Chaillet. Protestant. Templars, of course. De Chambrier. De Chèvre. Okay. It's an interesting coat of arms. So yeah, the rose, it's, you know, in the middle. It's a reference to the Knights Templars, the red cross of the Knights Templars. That's all of a sudden they're all showing like roses in their coat of arms, you know, or putting a rose on their jacket, on their chests. Von Negeli, Neuchâtel, de Neuchâtel-Nidaut, Maison de Orléans-Longueville, a count. It says they are a branch of the French royal house. Yeah, that's why there's the fleur de lis, which is a symbol of the French royal house. And on the other side is the Templar stuff in the Templars colors. So this is a double-headed birdie. On the left side is the just like the coat of arms of England, of the royal Windsor family. On the one side they have the lion, the other side they've got the unicorn, and here's the same. The fleur de lis, the monarchists on one side, and on the other side they got the Republicans. You see that a lot in the crests. De Palaisieux, Saint-Saphorin, I heard that name before. Another soldier. Hey, well, all these Swiss soldiers, hey, what were they doing? A diplomat, Pictet d'Arrangement, eh oui. De Pourtalais, another Templar's cross on his chest. And he went, what did he? He went to Prussia. What's Swiss doing in Prussia? And it says Royaume de Prusse, the empire, the Prussian Empire. You know, the guy who got abdicated. De Pourtalais, Casablanca. Well, yeah, they're all over, eh? Pourtalais. What? He went to Berlin. He was born in Berlin. Guy de Pourtalais, a count. Hélène de Pourtalais, she went to New York. No, she was born in New York. She was born Helen Barbie. Like Klaus Barbie, you see? This is where the name Barbie is coming from, Klaus Barbie. I have no doubt. This is why, you know, they gave him the paperclip and he went to America, you know, the Butcher of Lyon of the Gestapo. So her real name was the Countess Hélène de Pourtalais. And they just changed the name into Helen Barbie. You know, like the Barbie doll, you know, same origin probably, you know. And she was both American and Swiss. They just changed their names, you know, you won't find it anymore. There's no more de in the name and there's no more von in the name. And then they become a politician, you know, of the People's Party. Oh, yes, we love the people of America and the people of Europe, yeah. No way, man. De Colombier, famille de Villard, I don't know what. Von Baldenstein. De Corbière, seigneur fribourgeois. Pancras de Courton, another soldier, a commander, it says. De Courton, another soldier. de Cruza, a pigeon. Oh, isn't that lovely? I got a pigeon in a noble family. De Riebe. You're making drawings. De Diesbach. Ah. Oh, look at it. It says down there he was a Swiss general during the French Revolution. Well, you think about this, eh? And he died in 1797, so he wasn't even killed, eh? The French Revolution was in 1789, so 8 years later he died. A Swiss general in France during the Revolution. You think about this, eh? Hey, Swissy, you're not neutral at all. And what was he? De Diesbach, Freiherr, yeah, aristocrat. Frederick de Diesbach, another general. Isn't it? Oh, they're two Diesbach, both of them a general during the French Revolution. This one died in 1815, probably Battle of Waterloo, I suppose, you know. And they change sides all the time, you know. They start fighting for the king or defending him. When they can't win, they go to the revolutionaries and the Republicans. And there's a lot of Diesbach. They come from Bern. I filmed their castle once. It's in the Emmental, where we lived. Chevalier, a knight. This is a knight. Look at the picture down there to the right. He's got a double header, birdie on the right hand side down, birdie, eh? Meaning being both Republican and monarchist. Of course, this is typical, you know. More Diesbach. De Pourtalais again. Geneva. He was also German. De Pourtalais, an industrial and a banker, a Swiss banker, going to Prussia. De Pourtalais, another one. Beverly Farms, he went to America. Dupré, why they go to America? I thought they loved their country so much in the Alps, eh? Dupré, de Pratelli, they're already mentioned in the 12th century. David de Pury, a diplomat, of course. You know, they all have the highest positions in society. The Principality of Neuchâtel, de Pury, von Reding. There was something with his name, von Reding. Another soldier and a politician. Ah, yeah, from the canton of Schwyz, where the name Schweiz for Switzerland is coming from the canton of. There's a canton called Switzerland. You know, let's put it this way. Von Reding. The name says something. De Reynaud. Isaac de Riva, an artillery officer. Eh? Where was he killing Europeans? Eh? A Swiss artillery officer? Neutral Switzerland. Eh? De Neuchâtel, von Roten, a feminist. Oh yeah, let's destroy the family, eh? Well, it's also the aristocracy behind it. Von Roten. You know, remember this name, eh? Born Mayer. Mayer with a Y, they are jaywalkers, and Mayer with an I, they are the Europeans. So she was born Mayer and a jaywalker and married an aristocrat. So that means she was also of the aristocracy, but the jaywalker aristocracy. Otherwise, you just don't marry in like this into the aristocracy. De Dona, a grave. von Donats, another soldier, military. De Dorton, noble family. De Erlach, he looks like a soldier. From Bern, de Erlach. These are the coat of arms. Oh, I think I filmed that when at that castle in Speer. There's a Templar V in it. Louis d'Erlach. Another soldier, military Swiss. You don't need so many soldiers in a neutral country, do you know? So they were killing people elsewhere. De Erlach, the Count. Escher von der List, von der Lind. A politician. They're all into politics, like PER-SETH. De Estavayer, noble family. They have more, several. De Seria. Cerf is the animal you see here in French, de Seria. And very old family, it says, de Rougemont. A university professor. De Rougemont, another one. Roveria, red and white Templars colors. It says this noble family doesn't exist anymore. Forget it, people. Forget it. Forget it. They just changed their names, as I just told you. De Sali Soyo, another soldier, which you can see, Templars crosses. A lot of soldiers in a neutral in a neutral country. Eh? De Sali, de Salnova, the Count of Salnova. This is probably where the American stripes, the red and white stripes, come from, eh? I'm not joking. De Sarclore, or de Sarclo, there's the word Sar in it for the king. The pharaoh, like in the sarcophagus. De Saussure. So this guy is, playing the guitar. You think, oh, he's one of us, a nice dude, it looks normal. Forget about it. De Saussure. He looks like a hiker from those days. Another soldier. Lots of soldiers in Swaziland, eh? That's why still today the Swiss, they have a fully automatic caliber 223 Remington assault rifle under their beds, and it's completely legal. They even have to have this, otherwise they get problems. It's because that's because they, because out of this period, they're all killing people, the Swiss mercs. Gruyère-Aigremont, von Sachs, von Fellenberg, von Franz. This one here, he was oh, never mind. De Toggenburg, or the von Toggenburg. Comte de Fribourg et Brisgau. The south of Germany, they call it Breisgau. In French, it's Brigour. The counts. De Fruance. De Gélieu. Oh. De Gélieu. De Gingin. Oh, look at the coat of arms. A lion, of course, and a crown. And it says, in those days it didn't have toilets anymore, so they could still write WC, which you can see there. Now they wouldn't write that, eh? Noble family. De Saussure, another soldier. Von Schwanden. Oh, look, he was part of the Teutonic Order. Look at the Templars cross on his chest of the Teutonic Order. Burchard von Schwanden. Schwanden, I think that's also in the Emmental. He's the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order. Look at this, in Swaziland, and the family is still there. Remember how I got problems? I got aggressed by a priest of in a church of the Teutonic Order. Remember that? Yeah. Did he look like him? This is the Teutonic Order, the Grand Master. Yeah. Look it up. Burchard von Schwanden. Because when the Templars, when they were forbidden in France, and after the Crusades in 1291, they completely disappeared. And they went over into the Teutonic Knights. Because they changed the language from French into German. This is what happened. De Sénarclan, and another politician, Aymon, like Anke Anemon, the wife of a famous pharaoh, and the wife of this pharaoh. I filmed his castle this year in France. He was the president of France, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing. His wife, was Aymon. Typical name. De Stael. It's a baroness. She even has the red and white in her head, in her sultanic turban. Sénarclan. De Tavel. Yeah, a lot of mosquitoes on the left side. Oh, no, okay. A lot birdie. Every time, 3 birdie. And there's an octagon. Oh, yes, okay. So top right, in the middle of the coat of arms, and down left, there is a octagon in the middle, with a circle, and it has a cross showing the square. So it does say octagon, square, and compass. De Tavel. This family is worth more investigation. What's that? It's some sort of an animal and the coat of arms. The emperor, Germanic emperor, de Toggenburg. Schana, another politician. Van Tschudi, diplomats. Valangin. I mean, all the diplomats. That's what's typical, when the Industrial Revolution happened, and the aristocracy, they were very dependent on the land, and having the slaves work on it and grow potatoes or whatever. So with the Industrial Revolution, there was a whole new set of finance coming up. Even if you didn't own any land, you can make products, like the jaywalkers did a lot. And the nobility, they were losing power because they were just holding on to the land and everything that goes with it, So a lot of aristocrats, they went into the diplomatic services of their countries, which is, of course, it's part of the Republic, diplomatic service. De Goumoin, Joran, von Grafenried. Well, we know this one, eh? Look at this funny tree in the middle with three things in it. Very powerful family, very powerful, internationally powerful. De Grailly, noble family. The Count of Foix, which Foix is in France. Griset de Forel, Bad Sausenberg. There's a castle. Hakbret. A soldier. Oh, that's why he's called Hakbret. Hakbret, it means a cutting planche, when you're cutting something in the kitchen, a hakbret. It's a nice name for a soldier, I suppose. Cutting up the meat, eh? Now look at him. He's got a real hakbred face. Von Haller, doctor. Holzhalb, Zurich. Müllner, politician. Conseil de Zurich, the Council of Zurich. Dion, de Vatel, in the Justice Department. Seigneur de Vaumarcus, Estavayer, de Viry, the Count of de Viry. They're real chevaleresque. It says they are a knight. 1239, 1160. This is old. Oh yeah, look at it. Okay, good. De Voufflon, noble family. De Vuipon, de Varon. Well, she was a spy. You know, they are very good in infiltrating. You know, they only protect the nobility. So if the people, you know, they try to stand up for themselves, like the German nationalists or the Russian communist organization by the people, then they send these sort of people in there, you know, to spy, you know, with a nice bosom, you know, and okay, she looks nice and etc. etc. You know what happens then, eh? So he got some sort of an octagon on his chest. He was a general in the Swiss Confederation. Wat de Watteville, having another officer, a Swiss officer, killing people abroad. Von Zimmern. Well, this is an abbey somewhere. Zug. There's nothing here. Zug. Zug is, oh, there you go. Saint-Imier. Oh, that's interesting. Saint-Imier, they have the World Anarchist Center of the entire world, the International Anarchist Center. And remember how the Empress Sissi, Isis, of course, Sissi, it's an anagram for Isis. She was murdered by an anarchist in Geneva to make the First World War possible because she was against it. An aristocrat and an empress who didn't want the people to, you know, to kill each other and all that. The Austrian empress, murdered just before the First World War. De Joffre, again, you know, soldiers, military, regiments. Oh yeah, the Swiss regiment under Louis XV, it says here. Okay. Neutral Switzerland, eh? The devil's biggest trick. You know, to have the people think they're neutral and they're innocent, and you know, it's another soldier, de Watteville, von Zimmern, and here La Tour Châtillon de Tourlauben. Also a soldier under Louis XV in France. Châtillon de Tourlauben, Beat Jacques. He went also to France, or he came from France. Another one. All soldiers. Not all soldiers, these ones here. And oh, he was in the Swiss Guard, it says here. The battalion of the Swiss Guard. And he was fighting in Catalonia. Already the Catalonians were, in 1654, they're already working on their independence. You know, oh, these guys never give up. That's 400 years ago. And they're still going on. So, I'm tired of this, eh? That's okay. So it was necessary. Funny, huh? That the ruling ultra-right-wing party of Swaziland, the Swiss People's Party, ruling over Swaziland, never talks about the power of the nobility on all key positions, like the noble PER-SETH family or the hugely powerful house of von Gravenried with their Swiss media Lügenpresse. Instead of that, they divert the people's attention through the nobility's scapegoat strategy, always saying that the jaywalkers and the foreigners are the danger, especially the national danger of HROSS, who points out where the real danger lies and from whom the danger comes. The Swiss People's Party are a bunch of aristocrats, and even aristocratic huge landowners pretending to be farmers, while others, in fact, do the farming for them. Everything has been infiltrated by the nobility. Now you can see that in Wikipedia, the Swiss People's Party. In Swiss German, die Schweizerische Volkspartei SVP, or the Democratic Union of the Centre in French. And they have all these, always with the Swiss flag, and we are neutral, and the whole shebang, you know. And they got very famous for this year, the 3 white sheep, Swiss sheep, kicking out the black sheep, you know. And I was living there. I came to Swaziland when this was all going on, you know, so I got immediately a target by the Swiss Nazis. This is me, Sean Ross, you know, and they kicked me out. I mean, look, this is what they want to do, and this is what they did. I mean, can it be any clearer? Eh? I felt really like being a jaywalker in the 30s in Nazi Germany, you know. Horrible, horrible, horrible. They're very organized, you know, they use the police and they delegate their justice department, and real gangsters, real gangsters. And they also say these ones, look, you know, imagine if you're sitting here, you're one of these and you're seeing this, you know, they say, you know, this is the enemy. You know, no, it's the other ones hiding, you know. And these ladies actually, they were the friendliest with me, you know, always giving me food and in France. And it's not the enemy, you know. Of course, the real enemy wants you to think everything else, but that he is the enemy, the real enemy, eh? Just you know, like the Nazis did the same thing, you know, and it's the scapegoat strategy. Imagine this, you know, and nobody says a thing in the whole world, you know, like Nazism on steroids, you know. Yeah, look at that. That's Swaziland. Nazism on steroids. There's nothing else to say about it. Swaziland is Nazism on steroids. And the actual president is this one here. Well, I mean, look at him. Marco Chiesa. It means marker from the church. Chiesa, it's a church. Well, he looks very aristocratic. And he got this pin, you know, the NSDA pin, the National Socialist pin there on his chest, down right side. You see that? Swiss flag, the same system, you know. Hey, Swissy. The French aristocratic house of PER-SETH became part of the ruling class in the Swiss capital, Bern, or Bern in English, called the Bernburger, meaning the nobility of Bern. So not Bern Bürger, meaning the citizens of Bern, but the Bern Burger, as in Bern and Burg in German, meaning Bern and castle. So it's like a secret nobility organization. Here it says die Bernburger. In German, there's the word Bürger, meaning a citizen. And especially in plural, it has a umlaut on the U, like the two dots on the U, changing the, like here, you know, this is the O, but it's also with the U, the two dots on it, an umlaut. And if it's with a U, it changes the German U, which is the U, changes it in U. So then it would be Bern Bürger, the citizens of Bern. But it doesn't say this. It says Bern Burger. And a Burg in German, it means a castle. So these were the people living in the castles in the capital of Swaziland. So it's an interesting interview. It's an interesting story that one person found out something's going on here, something very fishy. And of course they don't know the whole story behind it, you know. As I'm, you know, things I'm telling you here. So you just punch pause. So we get on with it, eh? I mean, since we're here, so I better show you for the ones who read German, because this is very interesting. Oh, here, look. Here you see a U with an umlaut, the two dots. So it changes the German U, which is U, into the sound U. So changing from Burger into Bürger, which was not the case. So Bernburger is not a German word, actually. It's very typical Swiss here, related to Bern. And this is interesting that the most famous Berner Burger, well, this is wrong, Burgerin, you know, because it has nothing to do with a being a civilian or a citizen. The most famous one is Madame de Meuron. You remember what I just showed you in the nobility houses in French? You can look it up again, go back. There is one, de Meuron. And I told you just a minute ago, hey, I remember this name, de Meuron, you know, what was it? Oh, here you go. Very powerful family like von Gravenried and PER-SETH, and this is how Bern became the capital of Swaziland, only because of them here, because of the Bernburger. And even in Berlin, the capital of Germany, there is a Bernburger Straße, the Bernburger Street. Therefore, in approximately the same era, the French philosopher Voltaire said in the 18th century that in Swaziland 50% live in paradise and the other 50% in hell. This is Voltaire, and here it says in French, of course, I couldn't find it in English, la moitié de la Suisse est l'enfer, et l'autre moitié, le paradis. Voltaire. Meaning that in the beginning of the 18th century and right after the French Revolution, of 1789. The percentage of pharaohs in Swaziland measured half the Swiss population and heavily parasiting on the people, who fell into a hellish state. And here it says, you probably recognize these two here, I don't have to tell you. Parasites will always make you believe that they are the sole reason for your existence. Here it says, the so-called workers, mainly from Italy, supplied Switzerland's need for labor after the Second World War. The percentage of aristocrats was far higher after the Second World War, therefore needing to import a couple of truckloads of foreign workers, first from Italy and Spain, and then out of the entire Muslim world. Because nobility is expensive, non-productive, and parasitic, siphoning away too much of society's energy to satisfy its frivolous cravings. By Alan Weisman. I suppose he's a jaywalker. Smart guy. So Swaziland is a unique symbiosis, nowhere else to be seen in the world. A symbiosis here means the close relationship between organisms of different species, where our masters lived together with the locals, also called the Nazi symbiosis, who made the conscious and free choice of a 50-50 symbiosis against the rest of humanity, of both groups profiting from the devilish deal. The Swiss and the Templar nobility in a symbiotic relationship. And symbiotic relationship is one in which organisms, people, or things exist together in a way that benefits them all. Symbiotic relationships can be obligate or facultative. Obligate symbiosis is when two organisms are in a symbiotic relationship because they can't survive without each other. And facultative symbiosis is when species live together by choice. Hey Swissy.